My name is Eric Chyn, and I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Economics at the University of Virginia. And broadly, I study a variety of topics in the fields of labor and public economics. And so, for example, a recent project that I've been working on is looking at the relationship between neighborhoods and long-run outcomes of children. Now, this subject tends to be a difficult topic to get at because kids who grow up in different neighborhoods differ on many other dimensions. And so what this means is that kids who grow up in a low-income area, they may have worse outcomes as adults for reasons unrelated to the neighborhood that they grew up in. And so what I've been doing to really get at the causal impact of neighborhoods is I've been studying children who moved to better areas because their households were displaced by public housing demolition that happened in Chicago during the mid-1990s. And this historical incident is so helpful because there were other children living in public housing that were not displaced by public housing demolition. And so because these kids were so similar to the kids who were displaced, they form an ideal comparison group. And so what I find using this research design is that children who were displaced, who ended up moving to areas with lower poverty and less crime, they ended up having much better outcomes as adults. And so one thing that I've been really excited about in terms of working on this project looking at neighborhoods is that this work complements a number of other studies that are reshaping how we think about this subject. And so one finding that I also see in my own work is that children benefit the most from moving to a better area when they move when they're really young. And in other words, what this means is the length of exposure to a better area really matters for how much kids benefit. To say something about how my work is distinct, I think it's worth highlighting that I use a range of administrative records to do a very comprehensive analysis. So in my project looking at neighborhoods and public housing demolition, I rely on information from unemployment insurance records, social assistance files, and criminal justice data. And using this wide array of information is very helpful because plausibly neighborhoods affect so many different outcomes for kids. In terms of my path to doing economics, my interest in studying people and society has really driven me to become an economist. And so growing up, I was always very interested in studying history, and then I turned later to economics late in my undergraduate career. And ultimately, my decision to get an economics PhD was based off of my belief that economists had the best tools to do empirical analysis. And that idea really came from some experience I had immediately following undergraduate, after getting my undergraduate degree, where I had worked as a research assistant for an economist doing a lot of applied work. And this research assistant experience really convinced me that economists had the best tools to generate convincing, credible answers to questions about human behavior and then government policy.